Om Swastiastu. Welcome to my class, student. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nyoman Dewi. You can call me Miss Nadyah. How are you today, student? I hope you are in good health and always able to aim when you are doing activities, namely washing hands, keeping a distance, and wearing a mask. Before we start learning, it is better if we pray first. Pray according to their respective religious and beliefs. Prayer begins. Pray first. The topic that will be discussed is quadratic equation. Start from quadratic equation definitions, roots of quadratic equation, then the type of roots, the roots of the quadratic equation, and the rest operations of the roots of quadratic equation. The one topic is quadratic equation definition. Quadratic equation is an equation whose variable as the highest power of 2 is 2. Variables are often represented by the letter x. However, it can be replaced with b, can be replaced with 2x, and can even be replaced with other letters or other numbers. So, the general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 when a is not equals to 0. Explanation: the letter x is called the variable of the quadratic equation, and a is called the x squared coefficient, and b is the coefficient of x, and c is a constant. The next topic is roots of quadratic equation. The roots of a quadratic equation are all values that meet the quadratic equation. A value then, when substituted into a quadratic equation, will make the equation a true statement. Then, how to find all the roots of the quadratic equations? There are 3 ways to find the roots of the quadratic equation, namely 1. Factorial, 2. Perfect square, and 3. The ABC formula. Next one is factoring. The way to find the roots of the first quadratic equation is to factor the quadratic equation. This factoring is the process of turning a quadratic equation into a two-factor product. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Quantity x minus x1 plus quantity times quantity x minus x2 plus quantity equals 0. The values of x1 and x2 are the roots of the quadratic equation ax equals plus bx plus c equals 0, or also called the solution of the quadratic equation. Next, the perfect square. One of the ways to find the roots of a quadratic equation is to form a quadratic equation into a perfect square form. The perfect quadratic form of the quadratic equation is as follows: quantity x minus a plus quantity square equals b, with b is greater than 0. Next, the last is the ABC formula. The quickest way and often used to find the roots of quadratic equation is to use the formula ABC. It is the only to find the roots of a quadratic equation in any form because it directly substitutes the coefficient values for the quadratic equation. The formula for finding the roots of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is x12 equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Next is types of roots, the roots of the quadratic equation. The roots of the quadratic equation can be distinguished by the discriminant value b squared minus 4ac. The type of roots of the quadratic equation in question is 1. The discriminant value d is greater than 0, then the quadratic equation has two different real number roots, namely x1 not equals x2. Then 2. The discriminant value d equals 0. Then the quadratic equation has the sum two real number roots, namely x1 equals x2. 3. The discriminant value d is less than 0. Then the quadratic equation has two imaginary roots. The last, the discriminant value d is greater than k squared. Then the quadratic equation has two rational number roots. The next topic is operations of the roots of quadratic equation. The results of the operation of the roots of a quadratic equation can be immediately known without first looking for the roots of the quadratic equation. The formula used is to use the coefficient then form a quadratic equation. Suppose that the roots of the quadratic equation are x1 and x2. Then x1 plus x2 equals minus b over a. Then x1 times x2 equals z equals a. x1 squared plus x2 squared equals quantity x1 plus x2 plus quantity squared plus minus 2x1 x2. Then quantity x1 plus x2 plus quantity squared equals b squared minus 4ac over a squared. Next, x1 cubed plus x2 cubed equals quantity x1 plus x2 plus quantity cubed minus 3x1 x2 quantity x1 plus x2 plus quantity. Next, 1 over x1 plus 1 over x2 equals x1 plus x2 over x1 times x2. Next example question. Find the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. Answer. The quadratic equation x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0 can be factored into x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. Quantity x plus 2 plus quantity times quantity x minus 1 plus quantity equals 0. Next, factorial x1 equals minus 2 or x2 equals 1. So, the roots of x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0 are minus 2 and 1. Example question 2. The inverse sum of the roots of the quadratic equation is 3x squared minus 9x plus 4 equals 0. Answer. The coefficient of the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 9x plus 4 equals 0 are a equals 3, b equals minus 9, c equals 4. So a value is obtained x1 plus x2 equals minus b over a equals 9 over 3 equals 3. Then x1 times x2 equals c over a equals 4 over 3. Next, then for the sum of the reciprocal roots is 1 over x1 plus 1 over x2 equals x1 plus x2 over x1 times x2 equals 3 over 4 over 3 equals 3 times 3 over 4 equals 9 over 4. Then answer is 9 over 4. Okay students, so many explanation about quadratic equation. I hope this learning video is useful for all who watch it. Thank you students and goodbye. Om Santi 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 Om.